heard it all the same, but go ahead.
I've been noticing and saying lately that I feel like we are in an unprecedented time where we are being asked to step up. We're being called to really be who we're meant to be. And as a result, I'm noticing that a lot of people are pressing up against their stuff. And with that, they're being asked to take responsibility for what they're doing, what they're thinking, what they're saying, and how they're really showing up in the world. And I was sitting with that word responsibility because it's really a fun word. It's not like, ooh, let me go be responsible, right? Like magical, inspiring, even though it is. But it feels more like you're in trouble, right? Like it's some obligation or like, oh, I need to go be responsible now, and not that fun. And yet it is so key to making other things happen. So I wonder, is there an area in your life where perhaps you could be a little more responsible? Maybe it's in your business or your work life. Maybe there's something that you could be doing or you aren't doing. We usually know. And maybe it's something you've just been ignoring, like, oh, I don't even want to go there. Or maybe finances. That's really where sometimes that goes of like, let's just pretend that doesn't exist. Or a relationship. Maybe you just know like things aren't exactly what I would love it to be, but I don't want to rock the boat, so I just kind of go with status quo. And yet that status quo isn't working anymore. Or in your health, right? You feel any of those pains or aches showing up and you're like, I'll check it out next year. Or I'm so stressed, I haven't slept in days, but I'm just going to pretend that I'm fine, even though I'm really starting to get burnt out and I'm not. So all of these things are starting to boil up and we're not able to keep going. It's like we're just, no, enough. It's time to really take a look so that we can then take the steps that we need to take in order to shine and elevate and be who we really are. So with responsibility, it's really, really key to own it. You need to take ownership of it. Gotta be truthful. And boy, that sure reminds me of a story that I actually wrote about in my book, What If It Were Easy? And it's a client that I worked with years ago. He had the men's clothing business, small bespoke business, really nice clothes. And he came in, he always used to pace a lot for sessions, but he came in, he's pacing, and he's talking about this company that wants to buy him, and all seemed like a pretty good thing, but he was like, I'm not going to do it because, they don't have the same values I have, and all these other reasons he wanted to do it. So I sent him off to go do a little Moticise, go run and do the mindset reset process. He agreed to give it a shot. And he came back the next week and his energy was like totally different. He sat there with his head in his hands. And I'm like, is everything okay? He's like, I've been lying. Okay. I've been lying to my employees about how great things are going. I've been lying to my wife about how happy and wonderful my work is. I even lied to you when I said I ran every day. I've been running months. So he's like, I don't mean to be deceitful. These little white lies are just adding up and I can't do it anymore. And the truth is, my business is failing. And that's why I need to take that deal. But I don't want to take it because of all the reasons he had said. But in that moment, you could just see, finally, all that pacing, all that denial, all of that, like trying to make everything okay, even though it wasn't, and doing all the same things that he was doing without really looking at the truth and making change, and still hoping for the results to change, but not really changing his actions. That's what we often do, right? We live in denial or blame. It's somebody else's fault, like, or a victim. I don't know what to do. Or indecision. My favorite. or, or procrastination. Any of those behaviors are really prevalent when we're in that moment before we're ready to really take ownership of what's going on. Thankfully, in that moment, he did. We ended up exploring different things. I used that little what if it were easy question, and actually a bunch of ideas came out. And it took a little bit of time, but he ended up starting to fix the problems. He got an investor, in fact, a client who loved his products, and he ended up turning the company around and being a real success. And that is the power of taking responsibility, of taking ownership to what's going on. The second thing is to get out of victim. Yes, you can do it. There's very, very few things that are unfixable, but you have to know what they are in order to fix them. So look at what's going on. Once you own it, then what do you have? What resources do you have? What skill sets do you have? What knowledge do you have once you start to take ownership of this? Who do you know? Who do you know whom I know? You know, there's a whole series of things. And once you start to look at all that you have, that also starts to empower you to be like, okay, I know what I can go do. Maybe I need some other things in order to make this happen. But at least you're going about it from a place of power and not sitting in victim stance. And then, of course, you need to go take action. Powerful, aligned action. But once you start to own it, that starts to become much clearer. So, is there a place in your life, perhaps you need to take a little bit more responsibility? And once you take that responsibility, how can you implement it so that you can take the steps to really fly and really shine? And if you want some help with that, because I know that this is an area that can really cause difficulty. And since I'm seeing so many people hit up against it, I'm helping people with it right now. I want to make a special offer on a 3-month package. It's going to include everything that I've got, like the Sphinx Code that's going to help you discover the wounds and how to get past that, who you truly are, and even your life's purpose. It's got coaching sessions, Moticise sessions so that we can embody it, and also some laser coaching sessions that you can use in those moments when you're like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. And yes, you can. Just pick up the phone. We're going to figure it out and get you past that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, set up an appointment. We'll talk about it and figure out if it's a great fit. But either way, I want you to take a look and really get truthful, really own it, and then look at what you have and take some action. And from there, anything is possible.